Hi guys, welcome to our new Study Corner video. Today I want to introduce you to an American writing strategy that is actually quite useful and we will use it in the future. So let's look at it. It's called the RACE strategy. And it does basically help you with analyzing your bullet points and all your information given in any testing situation or any homework situation. And then it will help you to answer it. So all you need to do is basically remember it's called races, like in, car races. And those letters are abbreviations for what the actual process is then good for. So explanatory paragraphs are basically what we need to look at first. So, an explanatory paragraph explains about a topic in detail and it focuses on a single idea. So, you will be given reading assignments and writing assignments, and you need to make sure to know what the key idea or the main idea in each paragraph is. And as you already know, writing a text for the Matura or for a test and answering that text, you have been asked to answer one idea in one paragraph. So that's basically an explanatory paragraph. An explanatory paragraph should always include details such as where the text comes from, paraphrase text from your bullet points. It should include the facts. It should include specific examples. That is very important to me personally. I would ask you to always include an example that makes sense to you personal. So if we talk about a report for using the internet and you need to analyze the data, then please think of something that you actually do yourselves. So why do you use the internet? And give those examples. I don't want any abstract examples that do not make sense to you or to me. I want you to really think about the topic and include your personalized examples. So, explanatory paragraphs should be objective, so there shouldn't be a personal information in it, just like with your report and all of your other writings, except for the opinion essay. And in order to remain objective, they're typically written in a third-person point of view, so that's exactly the way we write all of our English tasks anyways. So RACES is actually an acronym, I've said that before, and it will help you to remember which part of the paragraph you're constantly writing. So, what is RACES? RACES stands for restating, answering, citing, explaining, and summing up. So R, restate all the necessary part of your bullet point of the prompt in your task or in your first half of the topic sentence. Answer, I need you to answer the prompts, basically answer the bullet points and give that another go and look at it and include all of the information that you asked for before. So restate and answer. Then you actually go ahead and cite information to support your evidence. So you cite evidence from the text that supports you and your topic sentence. This evidence should be copied directly into your text and cited from the bullet points or the graphs or anything that has been given to you. It should prove your point. It should prove your topic sentence. So then you need to go and explain the evidence in your own words. So paraphrase and make sure now we come to your personal ideas on the matter. So include your own words. You should stay logical, you should stay structured and include sentences with details that are only related to your topic. And in the end, you should sum up the paragraph by restating your topic sentence in a new way. So in the end of each paragraph, sum up what you've just said. Sum up and give your most important points. Now, I know this is very complex and it sounds weird and it sounds hard, but it actually isn't. So remember RACES, and now let's look at the text that has been done for you. So we have a pirate text over here, and it's an excerpt from A Sea Trip in Clipper Ship Days by Mary Matthews Bray, which is a very American tradition. And I want you to read through it and highlight what you think is important in this text. So remember, we need to look at R first. So we need to identify a question. Read through this excerpt and then give me your main question. Restating the main question. What's the main question of this text? So, have you had a chance to read it? Think about it for a second. What is this text about? So, let's look at it together. Writing is difficult today. I have to grasp my paper with one hand, my pen with the other, and brace my knees against the table, lest we part company. The second mate reported to the captain this morning that the men of the crew were aft en masse, complaining of their bread, the hard tack, of which large quantities are always included in ship's stores. The captain went forward on the upper deck and stood facing them, some 20 or more men. "Of what do you complain?" he asked. "The bread is not fit to eat," they replied. The captain sent for a sample, examined it, tasted it, and then told them that it was all right. "It is much better than you will likely to get on the next ship on which you go," he added. But they still insisted it was bad. "If we can't have decent food, we won't work," they said. "And you may get your ship to New Orleans the best way you can." "I intend to get her to New Orleans," he replied. "And moreover, you will do the work. I shall not pull a rope nor furl a sail, and I shall give you no other bread." Thereupon they left them and came back to the cabin. Soon after, there was need of taking in sail. When the order was given, I wondered if the men would obey. They did, very readily, however. The captains of these ships have a reputation of being severe with their crews. So, let's look at our racist strategy for this part of the reading. In this excerpt that I've just read out, the captain of the Clipper and his crew experience a conflict. So, your bullet point would be now to explain the conflict that occurs between the captain and his crew. So, in your tests, you would have the reading part, and then I would give you this bullet point. Explain the conflict that occurs between the captain and his crew. Cite your evidence from the text in your response. So, let's look at our races. I simply restate my bullet point. So the conflict that occurs between the captain and his crew is. So I basically just turned around my bullet point up on top. Now in the second part of the heading, I need to finish the sentence and answer it. So the conflict that occurs between the captain and his crew is about having decent food to eat. Now, going on, I should find and cite information to support that. And in the second paragraph of the excerpt of A Ship in Tripper Clip Shape, blah, 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 it states that the second mate reported to the captain this morning that the men of the crew were aft en masse, complaining of their bread, the hard tack. So in this paragraph, I found the answer. I found the information that the men are not satisfied with their bread. So let's move on to E, explaining it. So now you explain it in your own words. You've given the evidence, but explain it in your words. The crew wants decent food in order to continue working. The captain responds by stating that he won't give them any other food and that they will continue working. In the end, the narrator reports that the crew did continue working without getting any other food. So summing up, in the end, the conflict that occurs between the captain and his crew is about having decent food to eat. Sounds easy enough, or is it really difficult to understand? Well, I've just done one example for you. We will do loads of examples in class. We will be given reading excerpts and writing excerpts, and we will do the tasks and divide them into our racist strategies until this comes natural to you. So when we go back to our excerpt now, we can actually see in different colors our racist strategy. All the different highlights are from different sections of our strategy. So, answering, I would actually have my finished answer here. So, the conflict that occurs between the captain and his crew centers around having decent food to eat. In paragraph 2 of the excerpt from A Sea Trip in Clipper Ship Days by Mary Matthew Bray, it states, and so on. You can see we've done a beautiful job of analyzing what we've just read, which will help us with our reading skills. But furthermore, we did an awesome job at actually writing and answering a bullet point. This gives us so much information, so much credit. It's so full of good English language. This will help us immensely. So, summing up, the RACE strategy is to restate, answer, cite, explain, and, if you can still do so, summarize in the end. So, you're now familiar with the acronyms. You know what RACE is or RACE stands for. Now it's your turn. I will be giving you these Google Slides in class, which are different poems and words and readings from different classics. We will start out with The Pirate Story by Robert Louis Stevenson, which I think is a fairly good example that you can use the RACE strategy on anything. So, read closely. Read the passages carefully. Go to the next slides and read the prompt and your bullet points and determine what you're supposed to write about. You will come back to this passage and read it again. Highlight text evidence that will help you answer your bullet points. Go back and look at the slides of the RACE's introduction again. And then you will have to complete your own RACE's graphic organizer. So here we have our... So let's all read it together. Pirate Story by Robert Louis Stevenson. 3 of us afloat in the meadow by the swing, 3 of us aboard in the basket on the leer. Winds are in the air, they're blowing in the spring, and waves are on the meadow like the waves there at sea. Where shall we adventure today that we are afloat? 5 vary of the weather and steering by a star. Shall it be Africa, a steering of the boat? To Providence, or Babylon, or off to Malabar? Hi, but here's a squadron of rowing on the sea. Cattle on the meadow are charging with a roar. Quick, and we'll escape them, they're as mad as they can be. The wicket is the harbor, and the garden is the shore. Now, this is really, really tricky because it's a poem and it's in English and you've probably not come across anything like it. But if you can manage to do our RACE strategy on this, you will do awesome at any given text. So let's look at it again and check out our prompt. What we need to do. Robert Louis Stevenson uses a metaphor to illustrate how children in the poem use imagination to play. So, what I want you to do is explain the metaphor, how he uses it to show what children are actually doing. Provide evidence from the text in your explanation. So, your bullet point in any text, in any test, would be to explain the poem and show how metaphor is used to get across what's actually happening. So, you need to restate all the necessary parts of your prompt in the first half of your topic sentence. So basically take your bullet point and include it in the R. Robert Louis Stevenson uses a metaphor in Pirate Story. That shows. How can we go on? A, we answer our own question. So that shows how children are imagining they are on a ship in the ocean, but they're actually just playing in a meadow. Then we cite the lines in where we find information that there's actually 3 children in the meadow by the swing and 3 of us aboard in the basket on the lee. So they're imagining it. Now we need to go on and explain it in detail in our own words. So we have Stevenson sets up the metaphor in the first 2 lines of the poem when the speaker states that they are afloat in the meadow, and so on and so forth. In the end, we can summarize the entire thing by simply stating stuff we've already mentioned. Stevenson uses a metaphor to show how children are imagining they are on a pirate ship in the ocean, but they are actually on a meadow. So, we will end up with our highlights, our RACE's highlights of our reading text, and we will end up with a perfectly awesome answer. This is actually our paragraph about the poem. We will investigate that and look at it in more detail. We will practice it in class, we will have homework, and you will have all the slides in Google presentation and on our Teams account. You can do this. And remember, this is actually supposed to help you, because once you've mastered this in a more abstract way, we can actually use it for our Matura and for our tests. Okay, I will see you next time in our classroom study corner and hope you have a nice week. Bye!